What's up, YouTube? This is your friendly neighborhood movie nerd, back to give you guys everything that is going on in the world of movies, and in this case, television. So as you guys know, there is a brand new Netflix original series that is dropping on Friday. It is the next installment in what I like to call the Netflix Cinematic Universe. That is the Netflix branch of the Marvel Cinematic Universe that is going on the TV side of things, and that is the first season of Iron Fist, the last member of the Defenders, who will pop up right before we get into the Defenders miniseries that will be dropping later on in the year. In preparation for that series, however, I decided to do something a little bit different. It's no surprise that we are living in a golden age of television right now. Right now on television, you can find some of the most intriguing, original, and just bonkers TV shows that you can possibly think of, and it's not just that it's great TV, it's that it's great content, because as you guys know, television now is basically kind of on par with film, in some aspects, not all, but some. So as I was looking back through the year of 2016, and I was wondering, what was it about the TV series of the year of 2016, television season of the year of 2016, that made it so particularly great? What made it so much better than, say, the TV series of seasons of the past couple of years? Well, as I was looking and I was breaking down, I managed to break down that there were three primary reasons why TV last year in particular was so great versus where the movies side didn't hold up. Number one, you had enough new original content coming in that people were able to continue to be invested, which is something that was, as you guys know, was sorely lacking from the movies last year. Number two was the fact that out of all of the returning TV series, enough of the returning seasons of TV either picked up from a great previous last season and continued to be consistently great, or they picked up from a rather disappointing previous season and managed to be exponentially better. And the number three reason is most definitely because out of all of the returning TV seasons, a definitive amount of them, especially some of the longer running ones, arguably had their best seasons yet. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be going through each of those sections. I'm going to be discussing the TV shows that fit into those three sections. I'm going to do a general overview, not necessarily breaking down each of those TV series, because that's a lot of TV and that would make this an even longer video than it needs to be. And I'm going to be discussing why each of those sections and the shows that fit into those sections made the television season of 2016 so great. So here we go. This is a look back at the television season of 2016. The first reason why the television season of 2016 was so great is because of the amount of returning shows that either continued to be consistently good or improved upon a disappointing previous season. I decided to do this section first because it's the one that most people take for granted. In the age of the internet we now live in, everything is either great or terrible, when in reality 90% of media is mediocre at best. Which is why when you get a show that is good but not great per se, it tends to get overlooked. Such is the case of shows like Better Call Saul, Daredevil, and The Flash. These are all shows that had great first seasons that continue to be consistently good, even great in their second seasons, yet can sometimes be overlooked due to the fact that they aren't necessarily the hottest item on the market, because they aren't brand new or as popular and critically acclaimed as some of the other bigger, longer running shows. It also doesn't help that one of these shows is a spin-off of arguably the most critically acclaimed show of the first half of this decade, while the other two continue the trend of oversaturating the market with superhero content on all fronts. However, with all of these factors working against them, people continue to watch these shows and love them. The Flash this season took us to new worlds, something that the first season had not done, while Daredevil continued to expand upon Matt Murdock as a character, got even grittier at points, not to mention the fact that it introduced the Punisher, which Jon Bernthal gave one of the best performances of his career, and it ultimately ended up boosting that season a lot more than I thought it would. You also had longer running shows such as Shameless or Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Shameless, which continues to run strong, is just wrapped up its 7th season, did a double season this year, and continues to prove great by doing what it does best, which is just continuing the trend of showing just how depressing living in a poor urban environment can be, while Brooklyn Nine-Nine continues to be just as hilarious as the first 3 seasons have been. You've also got the show that kicked off the streaming trend, Netflix's first original series, House of Cards, whose 4th season was expansively better than the rather disappointing and meek 3rd season. With all of that being said, with the amount of television that we have now, with the massive amount of mediocre stuff we get, it's nice to know that we can still count on some television series to not necessarily continue to be great, but to continue to be consistently good and entertaining, which in the end is what television is all about. The second reason why the television season of 2016 was so great is because a lot of the shows that returned had arguably their best seasons yet. Whether it be long-running shows that we've fallen in love with and come back to year after year, such as Game of Thrones, Archer, American Horror Story, and Veep, or shows that are still relatively new, such as Silicon Valley and BoJack Horseman. These shows have managed to flip their formulas on its head, throwing out everything we thought we knew about these shows and giving us something completely out of left field, which we as audience members end up loving even more than we could possibly imagine. Whether it be the good guys actually getting a victory on the 6 seasons of Game of Thrones, Archer and the gang opening up their own detective agency and the season finale mocking one of the greatest black and white films of all time, Selena Meyer having a disastrous presidential election to deal with, the Pied Piper gang having to come to terms with the fact that their product may not be as great as they originally anticipated, or Ryan Murphy completely shocking us by flipping the American Horror Story formula after a dreadful 5th season and an out-of-left-field outstanding O.J. Simpson biopic. These shows continue to prove to us not only that they deserve the top tier spots in all of our TV discussions, but that they are capable of still being fresh and original so many years after their debut. But the main reason why the television season of 2016 it was so great is, of course, the reason why we keep coming back to media, and that is plenty of new and refreshing original content. The amount of brand new shows we got in the year of 2016 was immense, but the fact that so much of it was as great as it was is truly nothing short of a miracle. Stranger Things, Westworld, People vs. OJ, Atlanta, Vice Principals, Luke Cage, Legends of Tomorrow, The Crown, Troll Hunters, the list goes on. The funny thing is that while people were whining and complaining that original ideas were dead in movies, they weren't necessarily doing it about TV. But if you look at some of the things that I just listed, a fair decent amount are adaptations. The Crown and People vs. OJ are fictional adaptations of real-life events, people, and events, while Westworld is an adaptation of a Michael Crichton novel and film. Stranger Things borrows many different elements from 80s cinema and culture, while Luke Cage and Legends of Tomorrow are spin-offs of other superhero TV shows. So if these aren't original ideas, how come these are some of the most watched and critically acclaimed shows of the past year? Because when you execute something in a way that feels fresh and original, you get something original. It's why people, normal people, don't complain when a film is made adapting their favorite book. They can watch the movie and enjoy it for what it is, but they still have the original piece to enjoy it for themselves. It's the best of both worlds and everybody wins. So by saying that that original ideas are dead, or the book is better than the movie, or anything that diminishes the quality of a piece of art by comparing it to something in a different medium, you're already setting it up for failure. And in the end, art is meant to be enjoyed, not criticized, and yet somehow that's all people do with it now. In the end, television is television. Some of it will be great, a lot of it will be mediocre or terrible. I just wanted to take a minute and give props to a year that for the most part is being remembered for a lackluster film season. And of course there were still some stinkers that snuck in there. The Walking Dead continues to be bland, boring, and full of filler, while Mr. Robot took a steep nosedive with its 2nd season. But when all is said and done, the television season of 2016 is without a doubt one of the best we've gotten in a while, and I just really hope that 2017 can keep up the pace. So that was my recap of the year of television that was 2016. What did you guys think of 2016 for television? Whatever you think, leave it in the comments below. Make sure you also click that like button and that subscribe button. Follow me on Twitter at MovieNerdReview. Head on over to the website, movienerdreviews.com. That is it. I will see you guys next time.